Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय निताय गौरांगो जय निताय गौरांगो जय प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा जय सुदर्शना जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्रीला प्रभुपाद। श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 10th chapter, text number 3. Nishamya Bhishmoktam अथाच्युतोक्तम् निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तम् प्रवृत्ता विज्ञान विधूत विभ्रमः प्रवृत्त विज्ञान विधूत विभ्रमः शशास गाम इंद्र इवाजिताश्रयः शशास गामिन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्ता अनुजानुवर्तितः परिद्युपान्तामनुजानुवर्तितः निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तम् प्रवृत्तविज्ञानविधूतविभ्रमः शशास गामिन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्तामनुजानुवर्तितः निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तम् प्रवृत्तविज्ञानविधूतविभ्रमः शशास गामिन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्तामनुजानुवर्तितः निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तम् प्रवृत्तविज्ञानविधूतविभ्रमः शशास गामिन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्तामनुजानु निशम्य. After listening Bhishma Uktam, what was spoken by Bhishma Dev, Atha, as also Achyuta Uktam, what was spoken by the infallible Lord Krishna, Pravritta, being engaged in Vijnana, perfect knowledge, Vidhuta, completely washed, Vibhramaha, all misgivings, Shashasa, ruled over, Gam, the earth, Indra, the king of the heavenly planet, Eva, like, Ajita Ashrayaha, protected by the invincible Lord, Paridhi Upantam, including the seas, Anuja, the younger brothers, Anuvartitaha, being followed by them. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Shri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Please repeat. Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Shri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Purport. The modern English law of primogeniture, or the law of inheritance by the firstborn, was also prevalent in those days when Maharaj Yudhishthir ruled the earth and the seas. In those days, the king of Hastinapur, now part of New Delhi, was the emperor of the world, including the seas, up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir's younger brothers were acting as his ministers and commanders of state, and there was full cooperation between the perfectly religious brothers of the king. Maharaj Yudhishthir was the ideal king or representative of Lord Shri Krishna to rule over the kingdom of earth and was comparable to King Indra, the representative ruler of the heavenly planets. The demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna, and Vayu are representative kings of different planets of the universe, and similarly, Maharaj Yudhishthir was also one of them, ruling over the kingdom of the earth. Maharaj Yudhishthir was not a typically unenlightened political leader of modern democracy. Maharaj Yudhishthir was instructed by Bhishma Dev and the infallible Lord also, and therefore he had full knowledge of everything in perfection. The modern elected executive head of a state is just like a puppet because he has no kingly power. Even if he is enlightened like Maharaj Yudhishthir, he cannot do anything out of his own goodwill due to his constitutional position. Therefore, there are so many states over the earth quarreling because of ideological differences or other selfish motives. But a king like Maharaj Yudhishthir had no ideology of his own. He had but to follow the instructions of the infallible Lord and the Lord's representative and the authorized agent, Bhishma Dev. It is instructed in the Shastras that one should follow the great authority and the infallible Lord without any personal motive and manufactured ideology. Therefore, it was possible for Maharaj Yudhishthir to rule over the whole world, including the seas, because the principles were infallible and universally applicable to everyone. The conception of one world state can only be fulfilled if we can follow the infallible authority. An imperfect human being cannot create an ideology acceptable to everyone. Only the perfect and the infallible can create a program which is applicable at every place and can be followed by all in the world. It is a person who rules and not the impersonal government. If the person is perfect, the government is perfect. If the person is a fool, the government is a fool's paradise. That is the law of nature. There are so many stories of imperfect kings or executive heads. Therefore, the executive head must be a trained person like Maharaj Yudhishthir, and he must have the full autocratic power to rule over the world. The conception of a world state can take shape only under the regime of a perfect king like Maharaj Yudhishthir. The world was happy in those days because there were kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir to rule over the world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे. This is the process which is mentioned here. Vidhuta vibhramaha pravritta vijnana. So vibhrama means all misgivings, doubts and confusions. People are doubtful about the right course of action. And thus people make various plans. Until the end of life, this plan making does not stop. Does it stop? No. Till the end of life, till the last breath, old man, old woman, they will be making plans. Plans for what? How to become happy. Their planning has not stopped till the last moment, and they want extension also. So in this way, planning is always going. Why? Because there is always doubt. There is no clarity. That is why Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Bahu Shakha hi anantascha buddhayo vyavasayi nam. This was the purport Prabhupada tells, which inspired Prabhupada. Of course, Prabhupada is eternally inspired. But to set an example for us, he makes such a statement. This is a pastime. What is the pastime Prabhupada tells? I read this line explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. What was the purport? That the instruction of spiritual master should be the life taken as life and soul of disciple. Instruction of spiritual master should be taken as life and soul. Soul is the most important thing. So the life of the disciple, life and soul is the instruction of the spiritual master. So how important it is. Otherwise, if there is no instruction of the spiritual master, then we are lifeless. So this is very, very important. It is difficult to get spiritual master. It is even more difficult to get instruction from the spiritual master. Spiritual master does not instruct. What is the meaning of does not instruct? Spiritual master has come here to instruct. But we need to become eligible to receive instructions. Those who are not able to receive instructions, they are called Vedic culture. Yes. Yes. Yeah, another word in Varnashrama, Shudras. Shudras means those who are not capable. Yes, spiritual knowledge is meant for everyone. Only when there is vidhuta vibhramaha, when there is freedom from all confusion and doubt, a person has perfect knowledge, then he can be happy. We need only perfect knowledge to become happy in this world. Thus, everyone is encouraged to advance, but some people are not at all capable, just like animals, if they are sent to best of the spiritual masters. Best of the spiritual masters can deliver, but yes, otherwise, ordinarily speaking, animals cannot be delivered. Similarly, those who are very much in ignorance, they are not capable of receiving instructions from the spiritual master. Thus, they are not eligible for Upanayan Sanskar. What is Upanayan? It's ceremony after which we get thread. In India, people know, and many people still observe, but it has become formality. Otherwise, what is this Upanayan Sanskar? Up means close, Nayan means to bring, to draw, to bring closer. Spiritual master brings the disciple closer to himself so that instructions can be given. This process is called Upanayan Sanskar or the thread giving ceremony. So, this thread is not a formality. Now, you simply wear and you think Upanayan has happened. No. Person has not even identified spiritual master and Upanayan has happened. He does not know who is my spiritual master. You would have seen in the marriage ceremony, right? They give Janevu because without that you cannot perform that sanskar, Bani Grand or marriage ceremony. So people put the threads and remove after marriage again. Why they are putting thread? They do not know. So as soon as there is thread on the neck, it means the person has been brought closer to the spiritual master. Spiritual master gives him spiritual charge. He imparts spiritual instructions. Shudras are not given instructions because they are not capable of understanding or executing. If they serve, but these people who have taken Upnayan very nicely, they also become eligible, qualified. If Shudra is very sincere, by good fortune, he can make advancement in the same life or gradually in the next life. Arts in an eternal journey, they make advancement. So we have to become eligible to receive instructions from the spiritual master. It is the instruction of the spiritual master, which is the life and soul of disciple. Instruction of the spiritual master delivers the disciple from this world. Prabhupada tells it is the instruction which is just like a person who has fallen in the well.
So he can be taken out only with the help of a person who is out of the well with the help of a rope. So spiritual master is out of this well, out of ignorance. And the rope is the instruction of spiritual master. What we have to do is very tightly hold the rope, very tightly, very strictly follow the instructions. So unless somebody is very uh, much capable of following the instructions, spiritual master does not give the instruction. That is why sometimes, even though we now, of course, somebody can ask, how do I receive instruction from Prabhupada? So, in case of spiritual affairs, there is no barrier. Time, place, it does not matter. These are material dualities. But in spiritual affairs, it does not matter. Spiritual master was visible 40, 50, 100, or 1000 years ago. Some disciple was asking Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can we see the Kurukshetra Leela happening even now? So Prabhupada told, yes, it is happening in some of the universes. You can go there and you can see. So he told, so Prabhupada, can we go there in that universe where it is happening and see? So Prabhupada tells, what is the need of going to that universe? Now Bhagavad Gita is there. You read Bhagavad Gita, you are immediately in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That is the absolute nature of spiritual life. As you read Bhagavad Gita, the dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna on the battlefield, you are immediately in the battlefield. So we just have to become spiritually advanced to realize this point. As soon as we read Bhagavad Gita, we are immediately having the association of Krishna and Arjuna. So, in case of spiritual affairs, there is no physical barrier of time or distance. There is no barrier at all. But sometimes, when we try to take instructions from Bhagavad Gita, we are not able to understand, or we are not able to, even though we read the books, it is very difficult to comprehend. Why? Again, because we are not capable in ignorance, just like Shudra is not capable of getting Upnayan. Without qualifying ourselves, we are not capable to receive instructions from the books or from the Vani of the spiritual master. So, thus, one has to become eligible, capable. That is why another very important word is used here, which is Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible. Why Krishna is called infallible here? Why Krishna is called Achyuta, infallible? Yes, never falls down. And so, here what Prabhupada is explaining, in which context he does not fall down. Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. So, Krishna does not fall down from the platform of perfect knowledge. Thus, the instructions given by Krishna are perfect, and because Achyuta Uktam, Lord Krishna spoke these messages to Yudhishthir, thus Maharaj Yudhishthir was able to rule over the entire world. So, unless somebody has got perfect instructions, one cannot rule over the whole world. One cannot have a system which will apply to everybody and anybody. That is why everyone is fighting. China has one way of managing the world, US has one way, India has another way. In a similar fashion, different people have different ideologies. There is no one ideology, one set of principles which apply to all, because all the systems are faulty. But the perfect system is given by Lord Krishna. So the ideology of Lord Krishna can be followed by everyone across the world. And what is the proof? Prabhupada gave the proof. You come to our temples, you see people of all nationalities, all religions, all castes. They sit here, they live together. Nobody asks, what is your caste? What is your nationality? What is your age? What is your qualification? Nobody is bothered. Everyone is sitting together, eating together. Somebody could be owner of a very big company. Somebody could be illiterate person. Somebody may be knowing 6 languages. Somebody may know just one language. But everyone is serving Krishna without any, and everyone is living very happily. So this is United Nations. So thus, such families which are dedicated to serving Krishna, they are united, nations are united, everyone is united. This practical proof. Otherwise, the most intimate relationships are also dissatisfying in this material world. So unity is only possible when they follow the principle of Krishna consciousness. So thus, this is the proof. Thus, Lord Krishna is infallible, Achyuta. He has got perfect knowledge. So because Yudhishthir Maharaj took instructions from Lord Krishna, he was able to rule all over the world. There is another meaning to the word Achyuta, which is also in context of Bhishma Dev giving instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Here it is told Yudhishthir Maharaj took instructions from Bhishma Dev and Lord Krishna. Bhishma Dev is a pure devotee, also Mahajan, perfect authority, and Lord Krishna is supreme, absolute truth himself. So another meaning of Achyuta is when Lord Krishna was explaining, trying to pacify Yudhishthir, there is no fault of yours, you are perfect. You are not responsible for so many killings which have happened in the war. Yudhishthir Maharaj was not able to understand. So it appears that Krishna has become Chuta, fallible. He is not able to, something is beyond his power. Achyuta means infallible. There is no power over him, above him. Whatever he thinks must be executed. So here he is willing to convince Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj is not getting convinced. So means Krishna has become fallible? No. So that is why Prabhupada very beautifully explains. Actually, this is the real import of the word Achyuta. Why? Because the best of the personalities are explaining to Maharaj Yudhishthir. Who is explaining? Today is Guru Purnima also. Guru Purnima is appearance day of Vyasdev. Vyasdev himself is explaining. Other authorities are explaining. Great sages are explaining. And if such powerful sages explain, anybody's heart can transform. But because Lord Krishna is seated in the heart, he is not willing. No, Yudhishthira should not understand from them. So that all the best authorities have failed, but Krishna has not failed. That is why Krishna is called Achyuta. You can be the most learned person. You could be most empowered personality, Shakti-avesh avatar or anybody. But if I do not sanction from the heart, you will not be able to convince him. So that is why Krishna is called Achyuta. He is infallible in his desires. So thus, Lord Krishna had a purpose. Purpose was to glorify Bhishma Dev and to glorify the position of Bhishma Dev and to tell the world that Bhishma Dev is more exalted than even Vyasadev. Vyasadev is such a powerful personality. He has given us all the Vedas, and Bhishma was apparently a politician, a diplomat, a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are much lesser than the Brahmanas, but Krishna wanted to show the position of his devotee. His devotee could be Kshatriya, could be externally Vaishya, Shudra, or anything. But because he is a devotee, he was more exalted than anybody and everybody. Thus, he could do what Ved Vyas himself could not, or what Lord Krishna himself could not. So that is why it is told Krishna wanted to show the position of his pure devotee. What Krishna cannot do, his pure devotee can do to make others devotees. So this is another meaning of Achyuta. Thus, this is very, very important point in our spiritual understanding that Krishna is seated within the heart. And only when Krishna is pleased do we receive the instructions. We are able to understand. So thus one should be very, very sincere and serious in execution of spiritual affairs. And then all knowledge will be given by Lord Krishna who is seated within the heart. What is the verse? That Lord Krishna gives knowledge from the heart. Many, many verses are there. Yes? Yes, Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Satata yuktanam. Satat means constantly. Yuktanam is engaged. Krishna gives knowledge from the heart. To whom does he give? Those who are constantly engaged in his service. Prabhupada tells outside people work and they want to have some rest. But in Krishna consciousness, there is no rest. As soon as you rest, there is Maya. So you do not think, I've done so much of service, now let me have rest. Let me enjoy. The moment we think of enjoyment, so our taking rest is also devotional service, Prabhupada tells. Ideally, we want to serve Krishna continuously. But because the body is conditioned, in great embarrassment, we take rest. Okay, I have to sleep now. So that body get re-energized to serve Krishna. In this way, sleeping is also service of Krishna. It is not for my personal enjoyment. So in this way, devotee is always engaged in the service of Krishna. So those who are always engaged in service of Krishna, satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give the knowledge from the heart. So this is a perfect way of getting knowledge. Life direction we take from the heart. What is the need of so much confusion, analysis, and reading XYZ? We simply engage ourselves in the service of Krishna. We might be most dumb, less intelligent, but Krishna seated within the heart, he will give guidance. What to do first, next, and after that. So thus one should simply be very, very sincere and serious in following the instructions of spiritual master. Satata Yuktanam, and 24 hours remain engaged in service. This is important. Krishna wants to see how much we are serious. 24 hours when we are doing service, trying to please Krishna, spiritual master, being very, very strict, Krishna becomes pleased. Which is another verse which explains Krishna gives knowledge from the heart. Yes. Sarvasya Chamriti, 15th chapter. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Forgetfulness is also given by me. If you forget Krishna, that forgetfulness is also by Krishna. And if you remember, that remembrance is also by Krishna. Because I am seated in the heart. Matta smritir jnanam, knowledge, remembrance, forgetfulness. Everything is given by me only. And what is the verse from Bhagavatam? Vidhunoti surissatam. So here, the process, same process, what is explained here, Nishamya Bhishmoktam Athachitoktam. How Yudhishthir Maharaj was able to solve the perplexities, distress of his life simply by Nishamya, hearing. When he heard from Bhishma and Achyuta, he was able to solve the problems of life. Similarly, Bhagavatam mentions Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridiyantasto Hyabhadrani Vidhunoti Surit Satam. Our Surit means best friend, Satam means devotees, the best friend of the devotees. He is seated in the heart, Lord Krishna. And Vidhunoti means he destroys. Our best friend who is seated in the heart, he destroys all the misgivings, all the doubts, all the tamoguna. When does he destroy? Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna. When somebody engages in hearing Krishna Katha. So thus hearing is the basis. If somebody is able to hear very nicely, very sincerely, simply by this hearing process, Krishna becomes very pleased. Why Krishna becomes pleased? When we hear about him, Prabhupada explains, because nobody in the world is interested about hearing Krishna. Nobody in the world is interested in Krishna Katha. So if anybody becomes little attentive, Krishna becomes very happy. Somebody is lending here. Nobody in this material world takes interest. This is the one of the first statements by Shukdev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nrinam Santi Sahasrashaha. Oh, my dear Rajendra, the best of the kings. Shrotavyadini, there are many, many topics of materialists. How many topics? Sahasrashaha, hundreds and thousands of topics. You go outside, how many streams of knowledge are there? How many departments? In medicine, in engineering, in this stream, in that stream, every stream, unlimited. In art, science, commerce, unlimited streams, within stream, multiple streams. But Krishna subject, nobody is interested in. So when somebody takes interest in hearing about Krishna, Krishna becomes very pleased and he becomes very active from the heart. So this hearing process is the foundation of spiritual success. So one should be very eager to just try to hear with great care and attention. Prabhupada tells, when we are hearing, reading, it means the same thing. So when we are hearing or reading, we should understand that Krishna is personally present here. If Krishna is personally present, how much attentive we shall be? We'll be very, very attentive, right? So similarly, Krishna's instructions are not different from Krishna. So thus one should be very, very attentive and respectful while reading or hearing about Krishna. Unless one comes to this point, there is lacking in his realization in Krishna consciousness. So one should worship this hearing process. Prabhupada explained, one should worship Worship is done with great attention, great care and respect. Similarly, this hearing is not ordinary reading. One should try to worship this hearing process. One should be very attentive and respectful to reception of these words of the scriptures, either by while reading or while hearing. In this way, when one worships the reading, the hearing process, then one advances very nicely. Otherwise, it is offensive if we are not very respectful and attentive. So Nishamya Bhishmoktam Athachyutoktam. This same process is there throughout the Vedas. In Bhagavatam, same thing is mentioned. Shrinavatam Swakatha Krishna. Bhagavad Gita also same thing is mentioned. Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Tesham Satata Yuktanam. Those who are always engaged in service. Which kind of service? Mat Chitta Madgat Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. One shloka prior to that. Mat Chitta Madgat Prana. So these devotees, what do? They are always thinking of me. Mat chittaha, madgat prana. Their lives are surrendered unto me. They are living just for my pleasure. And then what do? Bodhayantaha parasparam. Bodhayanta means, Prabhupada explains very nicely, just like the scientists, they come together and they discuss about scientific subject matter. In a similar fashion, the devotees in Krishna consciousness, they try to enlighten each other about Krishna. That is called Bodhayanta Parasparam. So this is Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, the seed of entire Bhagavad Gita, 4 shlokas. So what is this Bhagavad Gita? It is Bodhayanta Parasparam. This is the topmost devotional service. What are the topmost devotees doing? If you read Bhagavatam, topmost devotee, who is topmost devotee Bhagavatam mentions? This universe, Lord Shiva, and yes, they also incarnate. So Lord Shiva, Prahlāda Mahārāja, Dhruva Maharaj, Narad Muni, what are they doing? Always discussing Krishna Katha. Topmost devotional service. They are sitting together discussing about Krishna. All the great sages, they are discussing about Krishna. Bodhayanta Parasparam. And enlightening, just like the scientists try to discover. In a similar fashion, we should try to understand Krishna's nature, absolute truth. This life is only meant for understanding Krishna. Vedaischa sarvai aham eva vedyo. So one who understands Krishna perfectly, he becomes happy in this life and afterlife. So for this, just like a scientist is also researching, but about relative truth. We are discussing, trying to do research on absolute truth. So one should always discuss, try to understand Krishna. Thus Prabhupada tells, read my books very penetratingly, very scrutinizingly. Prabhupada uses the word. So this process is very important. Prabhupada explains, one who simply reads my books attentively and carefully, you read my books attentively and carefully, and all your spiritual desires will be fulfilled. All spiritual desires. So thus this Nishamya, this process is the foundation, the basis. So simply one who reads carefully Prabhupada books very nicely with great attention, with devotion, Prabhupada tells all your spiritual desires. We have various spiritual desires. All the desires will be fulfilled. Simply one who reads very carefully, attentively. So thus Prabhupada uses these words carefully, attentively, penetratingly, scrutinizingly. Thus one should actually, not as a matter of formality, newspapers and novels we might read as a matter of, we give a sweeping glance, formality. But here we should try to understand what is Krishna, read, discuss. We should be very eager to understand. Bodhayanta parasparam, kathayantascha mam nityam. Nityam, always they are discussing about me, enlightening each other. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. In this way they are always pleased and satisfied. Tushyanti ramanti. And unto such great souls who are doing such discussion, always discussing about me and engaging themselves in my service, I give the knowledge from the heart. So thus this is topmost devotional service. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing? Discussing with Ramananda Rai, with Swarup Damodar Goswami. They were always discussing. So there's the topmost devotional service. Most exalted devotional service. Always enlightening each other. So this is our life. So we should simply engage in this process, understanding Krishna and discussing about Krishna. Human life is meant for this purpose. And of course, we should try to hear it from a bona fide source. If the source is not bona fide, then hearing will not be effective. So Yudhishthir Maharaj heard from Bhishma and Achyuta, Lord Krishna. So first we should be very, very eager, very sincere. So sometimes we ask devotees, why you are not following rules and regulations? So they tell Prabhu, still confusion is there. Whether Prabhupada is right authority or this parampara is okay. So many confusions. Somebody wrote a comment on YouTube last video that he got bewildered by some atheists. There are some atheists. Also, they are having their propaganda. They will show the videos of devotees and then they make counter propaganda. So like this, so much confusion is there in the world. And we are not able to follow sincerely only because of this confusion. So we should be very eager to resolve this confusion. Confusion is always there. Confusion is there about good doctor also. So do we remain for years untreated? Oh, for 20 years, I could not find a doctor. I'm suffering and I'll die also next year. But there is confusion, so I'm not going for surgery. Do we say like this? No? I know I can die anytime. Disease is very severe. I should find a doctor. At least some doctor I'll go, somewhere I'll go and follow. So similarly, death can happen. Already we are having disease, bhavarog. So we should be very, very eager, just like it is explained here. Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was a ruler, wonderful ruler. Monarchy was very good. Not the nonsense democracy which is there today. But why Krishna did not allow this monarchy to continue? Because they misuse their position. So if we misuse or don't take proper advantage of any position, that position is taken away. So if we misuse human form of life will be taken away. If you misuse wealth, wealth is taken away. If you misuse knowledge, knowledge is taken away. So because the monarchs, they started misusing their powers, the monarchy was abolished. So thus there is no person who is powerful who can rule. Everybody is powerless now. First of all, the leader is unenlightened. They don't have knowledge like Maharaj Yudhishthir. Even if Prabhupada explains very nicely, he is enlightened. Still, he cannot do anything because of his constitutional position. Constitutional position of leader is that leader is servant of the people. Leader is always supposed to serve the people, but he is actually servant. He is completely helpless. He cannot take a proper decision. People will throw him out. If he bans liquor in the country, the government will topple overnight. If he bans non-vegetarian food, nobody will vote him. If he bans mundane entertainment, nobody will vote him. Thus the leader, even though Prabhupada tells he is enlightened, he is helpless in today's system. Thus it is another very important instruction. Prabhupada explains. So Prabhupada is writing a letter to his disciple, Dhananjay, 31st December 1972. But in order to expand properly all over the British Isles, we shall require a big headquarters, as you are contemplating. But if there is no solid program for getting the place, simply we are depending upon agents and George means George Harrison, to do everything, then we may not be favored by Krishna to get a place very quickly. Better to take the upper hand and begin very energetically, attempting to get some place. By our expending energy for Krishna, that is appreciated, not the actual result of our energy. But if there is lack of energy being devoted for some purpose, then everything will be delayed and possibly stopped. Better to seize the iron while the fire is hot. That my Guru Maharaj used to tell me. So George is now convinced of our movement. He will pay. So why the delay and difficulty? I think you should very seriously and with a cool head apply yourself to getting that place or some other place as soon as possible. At least by springtime. Otherwise, mark the words Prabhupada tells, Krishna may take away this golden opportunity, being disappointed by our lack of enthusiasm and labor. So Prabhupada tells Krishna will take away this golden opportunity, being disappointed by our lack of enthusiasm and labor. So Prabhupada is explaining very nicely. Apparently the devotee, because George Harrison was favorably disposed. So to find a big place, Prabhupada wanted to have a big place so that in the England, UK, it can be preached very nicely, Krishna consciousness. So the task, the devotee delegated the task to George Harrison and the agent. So Prabhupada told, no, in this way if you work, the things may be delayed and possibly stopped also. Why? Because unless you show enthusiasm and energy in the service of Krishna, Krishna will not sanction it. Prabhupada tells Krishna will give you anything, but he wants to see that you are sincere and serious in his service. And he will give you only when he sees you really, really want it. So thus we have to show Krishna that we are applying our energy very much into it. So thus the position, the situation for advancement in Krishna consciousness may not always remain with us. Krishna is a person. He becomes glad when we start hearing about him. Oh, nobody takes interest. This person is taking interest. Let me help him or her. And when, despite being given opportunity, we don't take the chance, Krishna may become disappointed also, and he may take away the chance. Thus, many people who could not take to devotional service nicely, and now after 10, 20 years, they lament, I should have taken it more seriously. Now I am so much entangled in these affairs. And some of them have become old also now. And they tell how those were the best days when I was serving Krishna very nicely. And now see what is my life. I have become another sense enjoyer. My entire life has become waste. But now there is no coming back. There's always a case in all the affairs. There is a time for study, there is a time for interviews, there is a time for everything. If that time is lost, then it is lost. Similarly, this human form of life is very rare. And in this human form of life, opportunity of serving Krishna sincerely in the association of devotees, that is also very rare. Strike when the iron is hot. It is a personal process, Prabhupada tells. When you see somebody is inclined to become devotee, he shows a spark of Krishna consciousness, you have to fan that spark. It is a personal process. It is not automatic process. It is highly personal process. It depends on persons, the devotees, it depends upon person, the Supreme Personality, Krishna. When devotee is very eager, no, I want to make others devotees, then Krishna, in order to save his devotee from disappointment, makes other devotees. Okay, you are trying, let them become devotee. Krishna sanctions devotional service. Or we become very eager to become devotee ourselves, Krishna sanctions that we also advance in spiritual life. So in this way, it's a very personal process. So when we see somebody is enthusiastic, somebody showing little interest, immediately devotee should take care to make the person advanced more in Krishna consciousness. The interest may not remain always. Rajoguna, Tamoguna will attack, life situations will change, person may become busy, may becomes inclined otherwise. So thus Prabhupada tells, now George is favorable. You do it, finish it quickly. So the situations may not always remain favorable. So as soon as we find a favorable circumstances for advancing in Krishna consciousness, we should try to take the full benefit. We do not know how long we shall be fortunate to serve the devotees, to be in association. So we should take full advantage of it and make our lives perfect. As otherwise, if we don't take advantage or we wrongly using is Vaishnava Aparad. As soon as devotee commits Vaishnava Aparad, Krishna removes him from the association to save his own spiritual life. And if you don't properly utilize, here just like the devotees was lazy about it. If you become lazy, again opportunity may be taken away by Krishna. That is a fact. We want to do any devotional service, just like Janmashtami is coming. So we have to organize festival. Now for festival, different people are required to engage in services. Now suppose some person is not responding to call to messages, what we will do? We'll get some other person, okay, you please do the service, because service has to be done. So thus Krishna service has to be done here. So if we are very enthusiastic to become good instrument, as Krishna told, all of them are already dead in this battlefield. But you can take the credit by being instrument. So thus Krishna's plan is already there. We can become instrument. Good instrument. Take advantage. So thus one should be very, very eager to render service, to hear about Krishna, to spread Krishna consciousness. And we should not disappoint Krishna. Krishna is also a person. By lack of enthusiasm and endeavor, we should always try to keep on endeavoring, trying our best. And then Krishna, being a person, when he's sufficiently satisfied, he sanctions the knowledge from the heart. And then we are also freed of all the misgivings like Yudhishthir Maharaj. So we'll end here. Any questions? Yes. Yes. So the question is that while hearing, we should not be attentive, or while reading, we should not be inattentive. Yeah, that is because that is offense. But we discuss other quotes also, as Prabhupada mentions, while working in the factory, keep on discussing. Or when reading is not possible, reading discussion, then you hear my tape in the background. That is also inattentive. So this also we have answered couple of times. So while reading, doing other thing is an offense. But while doing other thing, that time also, if you are, so somebody was telling the devotee was having marriage ceremony, and while he's circumambulating the fire, then also he's chanting because rounds are pending. So people told, "Are you crazy?" This time leave your chanting bag and be attentive. So attention is expected in some cases, in such cases, huh? At least this time, follow it, no? So if you are spending with your family members, that time if you are still talking on phones, they may feel offended. At least this time when you are home, at least be attentive. But if you are outside and working very, very busy in some project, then also you remember family members. They'll be very much pleased. Even though you are inattentive, you are able to make just a short call, but they'll be very much pleased. So when we are very busy and then if we remember Krishna, that is not offense. That gives great pleasure to Krishna. But when there is exclusive time for being with Krishna and then we think of something else, that is offense. Forgetfulness and remembrance. Yeah. Why Lord sanctions remembrance and forgetfulness both? He should give one of the things. Why means? क्यों होता है? Because कृष्णा चाहते हैं इसलिए होता है. On what basis you want to ask? हाँ, ऐसे पूछना है ना question. बच्चा क्यों होता है? माँ बाप चाहते हैं तो बच्चा होता है, उसमें क्या है? If you want to know what is the process, male and female gametes fuse, then we can discuss that. Yes. So why somebody gets knowledge, somebody does not get knowledge? Yes. Why Krishna? So Krishna is not whimsical in his desires. So Krishna's sanctions our desires. When the living entity wants to enjoy material life, material enjoyment we can only have in madness. Then Krishna makes us mad. Then Krishna gives forgetfulness. So a sane person, a person in knowledge cannot have sense gratification because he can clearly see sense gratification is misery, cause of all my problems. But when somebody wants to enjoy, then Krishna gives forgetfulness. Okay, go in forgetfulness. Enjoy this matter. There is no next life. There was no past life. Enjoy in this life. And when somebody is sincere, no, I want to know what is the absolute truth. Who am I? Why am I here? Who is God? So then he gives knowledge. So that is why we were discussing we should be very, very sincere. I don't end up being lazy for my physical cure, for my physical treatment. I find a doctor and immediately surrender to doctor. Similarly, I should be very, very sincere if I am not convinced to find a person who is convincing me and quickly surrender. We should be very, very sincere and eager to do that. The question is, we discussed if devotee wants to preach, Krishna sends some devotees. So here somebody was trying to preach few months ago, but then we were not getting sincere devotees. Some devotees came, they could not continue. So why we are not able to get sincere and good devotees? despite we are trying. So we are not trying enough. We should try more sincerely. So how to bring urgency and seriousness in spiritual practices? So this urgency is natural to us to serve Krishna. This eagerness is a natural state of the living entity. But just like the natural state of water is liquidity. But in unnatural conditions, extreme low temperatures, water also becomes solidified as ice cubes. In a similar fashion, we have lost our natural tendency, eagerness to serve Krishna. Why? Because of tendency for material enjoyment. It is told Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. What is the nature of lust? Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. It destroys the urge for self-realization. So that is why Prabhupada mentions follow four regulative principles very strictly. So we should take medicine. We should hear very nicely. If we chant, then enthusiasm will come. It is like fire. But if the wood is not dry, then it will take a long time. Breaking four regulative principles is like putting water on the wood, and chanting and hearing is like igniting fire. So both should happen. So we should keep the wood dry and we should be always in touch with fire. So then it will be nice. Otherwise, if fire is not there, then one can be very pious, no eagerness will come to advance in spiritual life or to serve Krishna. Or if somebody is trying to follow nicely at the same time, regulative principles are also being broken. Again, the wood is wet, fire will never come. So both these things are required. Yeah. It is? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 Correct. The question is how autocracy is considered right, as it is explained here. Maharaj Yudhishthir had autocratic powers. And the example given is China. There is a autocracy, and one person is ruling the whole country and crushing the voices which don't comply to his beliefs. So, this Vedic monarchy or autocracy is very much different from the uh, autocracy of a mad person or unintelligent person. Yudhishthir Maharaj is a perfect representative of God, a pure devotee who is capable of receiving direct instructions of the Lord. So, such capable people were ruling before, and they were selected by a council of Brahmanas. So, if common people are given chance, common people, majority is foolish always. So, they will take wrong decisions, obviously. So, there are some people who are most intelligent in the society. They were given the right to choose the king. So, the king, when he has to appoint a successor, he will consult the Brahmanas whether my son is qualified or not. Sometimes they tell, no, he is not. Other son is qualified, make him king, or like this. So they were always consulting. And sometimes Brahmana, like we hear in the case of Vain Maharaj, they removed him also because he was not a proper king. So Vedic autocracy is very different and it is very, very logical. The most intelligent people of the society, they will know what is good for society, what is not good for society. So these most intelligent people, Brahmanas, they had the right to choose and decide who is the right person. And because he is chosen by most intelligent people, naturally he is the best man to rule. And such a person should be given full powers because he is most intelligent in the country, most capable. So this is the Vedic culture. And if king is found to be getting deviated from his duties, Brahmana will remove him. Krishna himself got knowledge from? Huh. Yes. Yes. So the next question is Arjuna is more qualified because he has taken instructions from Lord Krishna directly. So why Yudhishthir Maharaj is being chosen as the king? So that is a rule that the eldest brother will become the king, and all of them were pure devotees. Although yes, among the Pandavas, Arjuna is more qualified, but different people are. It is not necessary that pure devotee should always. Of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj is also pure devotee, but among the five brothers, it is a fact that Arjuna was more advanced. That is a fact. But it is also fact that Uddhava was even more advanced than Arjuna. So why not make Uddhava king of the world? And then it is also a fact that Yashoda Mai is more advanced than Uddhava. Why not make her or Nand Maharaj the king of the world? Or the gopis are most advanced. Why not make gopis the emperor of the world? Yes. No, but pure devotee is beyond all Kshatriya and everything, most knowledgeable. So why not to make Uddhava, Yashoda Maya, or the Gopas, Krishna's friends, as the ruler? So Subala, Sudama, they are all pure devotees. Why not make them? All the Vrajavasis, they could be made ruler, yes. Every pure devotee is supremely intelligent, most intelligent. So they are having perfect knowledge. All the ordinary boys, they are not ordinary boys. They are having perfect knowledge of absolute truth. So they should be made rulers. So there are two purposes here. So ruling the world is important, but there are other more important businesses also. Dancing with Krishna is more important than ruling the world. Taking care of cows with Krishna is more important than more important business than taking care of the world. Thus, so there are Krishna has got various duties for various devotees, just like it is explained. So it is a very nice question. So Prabhupada explains, Haridas Thakur was chanting 24 hours. Was Rup Goswami chanting 24 hours? No. He was doing various other things. So Haridas Thakur is more advanced or Rup Goswami is more advanced? Both of them are advanced. But Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita, different devotees are given different instructions by the Lord. They come for different missions, purposes. Rup Goswami's mission was to establish the Krishna consciousness movement. He has to write books. He has to re-establish the lost places of Vrindavan. Haridas Thakur, on the other hand, his mission is to glorify the process of chanting, to show the world the power of chanting holy name. So in this way, all the devotees were having. Pratap Rudra also was a pure devotee. His was a different example that kings also can become pure devotee. King cannot tell, I am busy. I have no time for Krishna consciousness. No. So in this way, different devotees were given different services. So all the services are important. Ruling is also important. Being with Krishna is important. And XYZ. So thus Krishna appoints his devotees in different positions. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So the question is, uh, today we have discussed that Krishna becomes disappointed if we don't maintain enthusiasm and endeavor. On the other hand, we see that Krishna is all good, always good. So are these two things not contradictory? No, it is not contradictory. There is always a personal process. Krishna is all good. So, uh, Krishna is all good means those people who are not behaving nicely towards Krishna, Krishna is acting for their welfare also. But to what degree, to what extent the welfare will happen, how quickly it will happen, it depends upon the other person also. There could be exceptions, which is called Kripa Siddhi. Krishna has decided, okay, he comes to me, whatever he does. That doesn't, but for general people, it depends upon the enthusiasm, endeavor, choice of the living entity. So Krishna is working for everyone's welfare, but here we are discussing how fast the welfare will happen. So that depends upon our, of course, ye yatham Krishna tells very clearly, ye yathamam prapadyante tam sathaya bhajamyam. As you surrender, so do I reciprocate. Krishna will reciprocate always positively, but how much he will reciprocate depends upon our surrender, our enthusiasm. Another question? Online do we have? Yeah, we'll come. So the question is, some senior disciples offended Prabhupada by not following the instructions. So why Krishna did not take away their knowledge? So Krishna has taken away the knowledge to the extent they have disobeyed. But other instructions they have followed. So in a similar fashion, to the extent we follow, not that somebody is completely, if somebody is very much disobedient, more knowledge will be taken away. Disobedient, less obedient, less knowledge is taken away. So in this manner, Krishna reciprocates. Another question. So two parts of questions are there. First part is, what is the meaning of attentive reading? How to do it? So we all know that what is attentive reading, being very, very focused, avoiding all distraction, and giving all respect to every word, understanding these words are not different from the personality of Krishna. Krishna is personally present. So thus I should completely focus on reading or hearing each and every word. And I should be respectful to this sound vibration as I'm respectful to the personality of Krishna. As soon as how do we offer respect to sound, somebody can ask. So just assume you are a blind man. So for a blind man, existence of personality is basis sound only, correct? For him, there is no question of form. Of course, he may touch if he's having tactile sense. Otherwise, if there is some distance, existence of a person means existence of sound. As soon as he hears the voice of the person, immediately he or she will become attentive in a similar fashion. But if understands tape recorder is being played, will he be respectful? Will he be attentive? No, may not be. So in a similar fashion, when we are reading books or hearing that actual the tapes or the media being played, we should not think, even though my phone is playing or my laptop is playing the sound, I should not think that this is laptop or this ordinary sound. I should understand it appears to be an ordinary sound, but it is Krishna personally present. So just like the blind man is conscious of personality only by sound, we immediately become conscious that the sound of the Vedic scriptures, the Vani of spiritual master is present, Krishna is present, Ved Vyas, Shukdev Goswami, Suta Goswami, they are present. In this way, we can be attentive. And second question is how to connect one verse to the next. So that is by practice. We can do it. Yes. Devotees hearing from folk residencies can carry on. I'll take one or two more questions. Yes. Hmm. 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 So the question is, we discussed that some people were not qualified to be elevated to platform of knowledge by the spiritual master and they were called Shudras. So the question is, does it not depend upon the qualification of the teacher that he can elevate everyone to platform of knowledge? So the answer is, most of the times it is the spiritual master may not be so powerful. And such pure devotees are very, very rare. It is possible by a pure devotee of Krishna. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yavana Kasadya. Yanya Chapapa. Most sinful people also can be elevated to topmost platform, provided they take shelter of a pure devotee of Krishna. He can do that. But pure devotee has always been very, very difficult to find. So the Brahmanas were instructing, they were acting as spiritual masters, and thus the Shudras ordinary do not have chance to advance themselves. But when they find a pure devotee, and what to speak of Shudra, Mlecha, Yavana, anybody can be elevated. But here also not everyone can be elevated. The exceptions are there, which is called Kripa Siddhi as we discussed, but otherwise it is mutually uh, uh, what do we call it? It involves both the parties. The disciple also has to be sincere, and the spiritual master also should be qualified. Then the advancement is fast. It is always a personal process. We have to please the spiritual master by seva, by our surrender. Yes. Hmm. The question is by consulting Brahmanas, the king was chosen. So he was always from the king's family. Was other person not capable? So uh, in order to rule, the suitable mind and body is also required. So the king's family can produce a person who is having a suitable mind and body to take the position of uh, a ruler. So that is why it was chosen from the family of Kshatriyas. Question is why Arjuna was chosen to give instructions while Yudhishthira could be more intelligent than more Vedic knowledge. So this is very nicely explained that although Yudhishthir Maharaj was definitely was a better moralist, but Arjuna was a better devotee. Because Yudhishthir Maharaj, of course, all of them are pure devotees, but for our understanding, externally they behave like this. So Yudhishthir Maharaj behaved as a very nice moralist. When Krishna told you speak lie, he did not tell lie. He told, no, I am a moralist. I cannot tell lie. So thus Prabhupada explains Yudhishthir Maharaj could not become devotee of Krishna externally. And Arjuna, he, even though the family members were there on the other side, and he told apparently it is very sinful to kill my guru and my grandfather, but he gave up all dharma, gave up all religion, and simply followed Krishna's advice. So that's this very nice question. So whether Krishna will give knowledge to anybody depends on simply upon this factor of pure devotional service. How much a person is devotee of Krishna. So many sages were present, Maharaj Yudhishthir was present, who were much more apparently pious personalities. But the most pious man is a devotee who is surrendered to Krishna. Such person only is qualified to receive knowledge from Krishna, which is most confidential knowledge. So thus we also should try to become completely surrendered devotee like Arjuna, should not care for mundane good, bad, profit and loss, and then knowledge will be spoken to us. Yeah. Yes. So the question is, I spoke Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was also a devotee, pure devotee like Arjuna, but externally he behaved like a non-devotee. So what does it mean? So it means Krishna comes here to give instructions to us. So thus he tells, if you behave like a non-devotee, this is what will happen to you. If you behave like a devotee, this is what will happen to you. So Yudhishthir Maharaj was playing the role of a moralist and not exactly of a pure devotee, although he's a pure devotee at heart. The question is that means we are discriminating on the basis of birth. But Krishna tells it is not by birth but by karma. Good question. Uh, so why we are choosing king from the king's family? And Krishna is telling it is by guna karma vibhagashah, by guna and by karma. So that is why it is not necessary that the son of king will become king. But ordinarily, because devotional service is very rare, by devotional service, yes, anybody could be raised to the platform of a pure devotee of Krishna who can become Brahmana, who can become Kshatriya king, who can become Vaishya, Shudra, XYZ. A pure devotee can do anything. But this pure devotional service which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing to anybody and everybody was very, very rare. So that is why ordinarily a person cannot be purified who does not have a good body in this life. Only by devotional service, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Striya Shudro Tatha Vaishyas Ye Pisyu Papayoneya Te Piyanti Param Gatim. Those who do not have good birth, like a Brahman or a Kshatriya, others also, if they take shelter of me, surrender to me, they can also make their lives perfect. But this situation was, shelter of Krishna was not given before this Kali Yuga. It was very, very rare. So ordinarily what people have to follow, they have to abide by the laws of nature. The law of nature is only a person who is born of a Kshatriya father and Kshatriya mother can be trained to become a Kshatriya. One who has not taken birth in such a family, it is very, very difficult to become a Kshatriya. So that is why first condition is you take birth in the family of Kshatriya, and second condition is then you get trained, take birth and then get trained also. If you are not trained, again Brahmanas will not appoint you. But the Vedic system was so nice that they will follow all the rules and regulations nicely, and usually they'll be able to produce next person who is also qualified as a Kshatriya. But there have been some cases, Vaishya becoming Kshatriya or Shudra becoming Kshatriya, I am not aware, but definitely in Varnashram also, just like Vishwamitra, he was a Kshatriya. He, by his hard work, by his willingness, he became a Brahmana. Similarly, the sons of Rishabdev, even though they were born of a Kshatriya, some of them they became sannyasis, other became Brahmanas, and other became kings. So in a similar fashion, in this life also, by one's endeavor, effort, one can elevate oneself. But such a situation was very, very rare in the regular Vedic culture. So we'll finish here. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki